All right, we're back with another episode on YouTube, and the thing that really gets me going as far as the whole self-development space when it comes to men, we want to think about all the things that we need to do for ourselves to kind of heal the trauma from the past, or really just be aware of our actions, our thoughts, our words, our tones. When we're trying to just become aware of those things, there's a lot of work that goes into it. We got to practice this every single day. On top of that, there's a lot of different modalities in which we can do this. There's a lot of different tools and tricks that we can put into our playbook so we can get ahead of it or understand it. But one thing that we don't talk about a lot, and a lot of men, especially in the development space, don't even mention, is really the tribe, the circle of men that you have around you. And this is incredibly important because they're the ones that can make or break your development. And it's not to say that the external pieces are what make you a better person. We don't want to give support to that mindset because you are the ownership of your own story. What this is saying is that the men that you draw into your life and choose to keep into your life, right? Because that's all your actions, that's all your choices, that can make or break your growth. And why is that? Because the people you surround yourself with are going to be examples. They're going to be pieces of you or pieces you desire to be, right? It's one or the other. And either it's a piece that you like about yourself or it's a piece that you desire to be in this world, and they challenge you to reach new goals. But what most men do is we develop some form of friendships through the past, our past selves, usually a lot younger. Many men hold on to their quote unquote friends from high school or friends from college, right? From our very transformational years into manhood, we hold on to that. But a lot of those guys aren't exuding the values that we desire to be at if we're on this journey. If we're on this journey of self-discovery, for all you guys that are great, stuck in the past, like fuck off, like you're cool, keep that, whatever. But like the guys that are trying to grow, when they actually objectively take a step back and look at who's in their lives, majority of the people that you still have in your life are from those past seasons, those past versions of you. And sometimes they don't necessarily align with who you are today or where you want to go. The other thing is many people, and this isn't just men, this is women as well, are friends through obligation. And what do I mean by that? Well, you're obligated in work, right? Like if you're in proximity and you're with people 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, you're kind of obligated to have some friends in there or people you choose to talk to, people that maybe at least bring some form of enjoyable conversation for you. But those aren't really people you actually enjoy being around. Like they're not really aligned with your goals. They're not aligned with your future. They're not somebody you'd go hang out with on the weekend in most cases, right? And there is more of a bonding through necessity than a bonding through growth and desired progress. And so when I say this to guys, because guys ask me this, well, Johnny, how do I fucking find friends? How do I find this tribe? When I say this to guys really don't understand how important it is. And if you aren't looking at your inner circle and you're not looking at the men who are raising the bar for you, because that's the other thing. We want guys that we look up to in a way that we're like, wow, like I would love to be there. Like that guy is doing things or living a lifestyle that I enjoy and I would like to enjoy. So let me try to be in my own way. Let me try to achieve those heights, right? We need that challenge. It's not comparisonitis, guys. It's somebody who helps you raise the bar for yourself, because when you surround yourself with them, inherently that energy is going to bring you up. Inherently, you're going to start to think in bigger ways because you're going to be like, whoa, you know, Johnny's doing this and I'm still just doing this. I'm like 9 to 5, I'm living for the weekend, I'm drinking all the time, but he's not. He's getting fit, he's creating a business, he's still doing his 9 to 5, he's a great father, he's a great husband, he's XXX, he's doing sports, whatever it is. Like he's doing all these things and I really want to do that. It's not saying like, oh, fuck that guy, like compare to him. It's saying that's someplace I want to be. How do I get there? Let me continue to surround myself with him. Let me be in his presence. Let me make sure that I continue to have that conversation and proximity and relationship. So then I constantly am like, wow, what would Johnny be doing right now? Or how did Johnny raise the bar? Let me ask him. Let me see if I can implement what he's implemented in his life, so then I can start to raise up. That is the benefit of putting yourself in a circle where people are in an elevated space from you, and that you guys are friends. Not elevated status, right? We're not doing classism here, but an elevated state, like whatever it is. Maybe it's mindset, maybe it's happiness, maybe it's relationships, maybe it's physical fitness, maybe it's business, whatever it is. Maybe it's even investments. Maybe you want to make better investments and you have some of the money to do it and you want to ask a friend. Well, you need a friend that's good at that. You need somebody that is actually setting an example in that field. And so when I tell guys this, I tell you this because of the fact that your circle is incredibly important. Your inner circle is incredibly important to where you are going. If you want to continue to be where you're at or lower, continue to stay with the people who aren't trying to achieve higher heights. They're not trying to achieve anything more in their life. They're great with a 9 to 5 and an everyday go to work, live for the weekend, drink, watch football. That's what you want. That's okay, right? Like that's your choice. But for my guys that want more, if that's the people you're around, there's no way you're going to elevate higher than that, because they're constantly going to be bringing you back to old habits, old patterns, old mindsets, old perceptions. You're going to carry that shit with you, and then you're going to continue to put yourself back in that state. And what's going to happen is you're going to connect back with those patterns and those habits. And when you get into those, your natural state is going to be back where it was before you decided to grow. Even when you put yourself in those situations, say for instance, you decide to grow, right? And you're like, fuck, I want to do more. I got this business idea. I think I can get it running, yada, yada, yada. And, Jimmy invites you over for football on Sunday, and you put yourself back in that scenario that gets you into an old state of mind. Well, guess what's going to happen? You are going to then reflect old patterns after you leave that, or even in that environment that sets you back from progressing on where you want to go. So think about who's really in your inner circle, man. It's a challenge, because the other thing people want to say when they do actually address this, and they don't typically look at like the people who are your friends, they're just saying like people in your lives. They'll be like, oh yeah, cut them out. Bro, it don't work that way. You can't just like cut people. I mean, you can. Some people can do cold turkey and just totally, especially when it's incredibly toxic people, which I highly recommend, cut them out. Like they have no place in your life. They're energy vampires. But for the average people that are in your life, specifically family members and longtime friends, it's not as easy as just saying, oh, cut them out. So what do you do? How do you go about keeping them in your life but not going down to their level, right? And one thing you can do is mitigate your exposure to them. So mitigating your exposure means limiting either how many times you talk to them a month, limiting the time of the conversation, limiting the amount of time you spend going down with them, because most of these people are negative, right? So not to their fault, not to be like, oh yeah, like you're a piece of shit, you're negative. They don't know any better. So they just look for the errors and the judgment in every situation and go down the negative path. And it's not saying like, oh, you're better than that, but it's just saying, hey man, acknowledge them and then just be like, yeah, but that's really where I want to be. That's what I'm going to do. I totally think it's going to be successful, bro. Absolutely. 100%. Like, you start having that confidence, you start setting the ground rules of that negative bullshit. They're either going to stop calling you because they're like, fuck, this dude's just too positive all the time. He's not feeding into my bullshit. He's not sitting in my fucking mediocrity with me. Or they're going to want to be around you and start elevating their level, and then you become that to them. But then you need to sit there and find somebody who's going to be brought into your inner circle who's raising your bar, right? Because we can't do this alone. Anybody that wants to tell you that bullshit is a fucking liar. I don't care how fucking badass you think they are. They're all fucking liars if they say they do this on their own. I guarantee you they have an inner circle, and their inner circle is comprised of people who raise the standard for them, who they look up to. And if you're doing that, then you're going to end up bringing in people close to you who actually have extreme value and getting you to a place of just astounding happiness and astounding growth and humbleness and understanding of yourself and where life can be. But until you do that, until you see something different, until you have a script or a guidance to something different, you are not going to just simply elevate yourself. You need that guidepost. You need the people to support you. You need people that are like, yeah, that is a big idea. Fuck yeah, you can do that. Here's how. Let's go ahead and brainstorm this. That's the kind of men you need in your life. But where do you fucking find them, right? Like, where do we get these things? Where do we find these people? They don't just fucking show up on our doorstep, and you sure as hell ain't gonna find them always in these fucking 9-to-5s. I can promise you that, because that just breeds negativity. I can say all this shit because I've been in it for my fucking whole life, and I can tell you right now, there's very few people I've ever come across in a 9-to-5 that are fucking positive people. Yeah, they're always got some fucking negative bullshit to say, and that's what they joke about, and that's what life is to them. But when we're looking at where we want to go, when we step out of that and we stop being in part of the societal structure and start being part of our own creativity and our own story, the heroes of our own story, it takes getting a circle of good men around you. And so for me, one of the things that I do is I put myself in positions to be part of groups where fucking high level players are. Men that are aware, men that are doing business shit, men that are creating, men that don't have limitations, that see just everything and are like, that's fucking doable. It might take some fucking time. You might have to do some trial and error. Fuck, it might fail. But guess what? You can do it. You can give it the fucking college try and give it the ability to have legs. They actually support that shit. And they'll give me every tool I need to support me in it so that I have the best chance to be successful. And I put myself in those positions by investing in masterminds, investing in fucking coaches, making sure that I go out of my way when I'm invited to events where my friends are having, parties, or even if it's somewhere in the United States and they're like, yeah, man, if you can make it, that would be great. I go out of my way to make it to those things. One, because that relationship is important to me. And two, it puts me in that circle of men who are going to raise the bar for me. It allows me to gain experience, to talk to people, to get new perspectives, to understand where other people are, how they've gotten to where they're supposed to be or where they desire to be. That's what I fucking do. I tell you guys this shit because the fact that I think it's incredibly important, and I wouldn't have elevated my game if I didn't put myself in those positions. But you guys can elevate your fucking game if you do the same thing. So think about how you're putting yourself in uncomfortable positions with new people, creating new friendships, creating new bonds, creating new relationships, and actually finding people who set a new standard, who challenge you to raise your standard. One of those things is my Wildman experience. Those fucking men are all raising the bar. And guess what? They show up there and they come out of there with a new fucking standard for themselves, for their relationships with their brothers, and for their families, guys, and for their businesses. I've seen this shit happen time and time again. So that is a kind of place where you can go to really elevate yourself. So get part of it. Be part of shit like this. Put yourself in that position. And if you guys are interested in coming, we have one November 3rd to the 6th. Make sure you guys message me, Johnny at johnnylsasser.com. It's on the slide at the end of this. go ahead, message me and let me know that you want to be part of this. That is going to change the game for you guys. So for everybody out there, I appreciate you guys listening, but raise your fucking circle around you. Get elevated. You want a better life? Then start having better people around you, better mindsets around you. That's where you start to fucking grow. All right, fired up. I love this stuff. And I love talking about how important our brotherhood is. Our brothers are. That is what has set me up for success, and it changes the game. So make sure you guys are finding those circles, elevating your game, and getting to new heights. All right, guys, till next time.